I snap on the track like the fingers of Thanos. Como también nosotros perdonamos a los que nos ofenden. It's all love, all Wimbledon with the pendant. All I have in this world is my flag and my sword. I'm on the battlefield.
I'm near Washington Square Park right now because there's a lot of really good pizza places here, and I'm gonna grab a quick bite to eat before we start this video. I think where I'm heading is like right here across the street. So in today's video, I kind of wanted to talk about this camera right here, the one that I shoot everything on, my only camera, the only camera that I've owned for the last year. I get a lot of questions in the comments, DMs of what gear I use, and I actually have everything linked in the description, so you can see every piece of gear that I use there, but that's just a link, and I actually wanted to talk about what I like about this camera and what features, like if you're looking for a camera, if you're looking shopping around for your first camera, second camera, what features that I really prioritize in a camera when I'm out shooting. So the camera that I shoot literally everything on other than my iPhone is my Sony a6700, and that's what you guys are seeing right now. I bought it about a year ago in like October. I also think that it's probably the best camera for people who are doing things that I do, things like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, but you want to do it at a higher level than your iPhone. I think that this is the perfect camera for that, because if you're in the space and you're in the hobby, you know that cameras are really expensive, and this camera, I actually bought it brand new for less than $2,000, which I know if you're a beginner, you're like, dude, $2,000 is not cheap. But when you sit down, do a little bit of research on what the upper end of that spectrum looks like a lot of YouTubers out here are shooting with like $4,000 or $5,000 cameras and then slapping like a $2,000 or $3,000 lens on top of it. So the fact that this entire setup is much less than that, like 20% of that, says a lot. I also know that a lot of people who are out there consuming, watching these videos are also people who want to make these videos. So here's a very quick picture that I'll paint for you guys of the settings that I use and how I shoot these videos. So some of the reasons that I really like filming with this camera is, number one, the size. I used to shoot on a Sony a6400, and this camera, even though it's much better, much newer, with a bigger battery and like better sensor, it actually is about the same size. The grip is a little bigger, which makes it more comfortable to hold, but overall, when I'm out walking, I don't feel like it's a bulky camera. I want to be able to use my camera as efficiently and easily as possible, so if I have a big chunky camera, like I've shot with these big cinema rigs before, if I'm shooting on a big cinema rig and the thing is heavy and inconvenient, I'm gonna not want to take it out of the house with me, and then I'm not gonna want to shoot with it. So there's definitely a point where your camera becomes too expensive, too big, too professional to use for something like this. And this is not a complete review of this camera or anything. I just want to point out some of the features that I really like. I also really like the quality of the footage. So I shoot all my videos in 4K 30 frames per second because that's just what I personally like. And the 4K image that comes out of this camera is actually a 6K image downsampled to 4K, so you're actually getting better quality than you would out of a regular 4K video. The image is actually so sharp that I actually add grain and like these vintage film effects to make it feel a little softer and more natural, but that just shows how cool it is. And finally, the main reason that I shoot with this camera is because of the color science. And I know people always kind of say different things about different camera companies and their colors, but me personally, since I do all of my own color grading, I don't really care what the image looks like when it comes out of the camera. I care about how powerful the codec is, and with this camera, when I shoot in 10-bit 422 color, which really just means that I can take this image to wherever I want it to be and really color grade like every bit of it. If you have an older Sony camera and it doesn't have 10-bit color, you can still color grade it. I did for a long time, but definitely once I upgraded to a 10-bit camera, my color grading went through the roof. So I'm not saying that you need like a expensive camera to start making YouTube videos or start shooting or anything, but I would absolutely be lying if I said it didn't help. But like I said earlier, if you have too expensive of a camera, too big of a camera, too professional, to the point that you don't even know how to use it or you don't want to use it, then that's counterproductive. So you gotta find that happy medium, and for myself, the Sony a6700 is exactly what I need. You can check out the rest of my gear in the description.
Girl, you look fine as hell.
So there's that saying that you guys have all definitely heard, which says that like gear isn't everything and you don't need a camera, you don't need an expensive camera to shoot, which is absolutely true. You do not need the most expensive camera to shoot. Like I said earlier in the video, if you have too expensive of a camera that you don't even know how to use, that's too professional for yourself, you're gonna end up actually making a worse video or a worse final product. So the gear that you shoot on is not the most important. So I'm not saying to go out and upgrade your camera every time you feel like you have a limitation, but just understand that you shouldn't feel guilty about investing in yourself, in your hobby, when it actually is time to invest in yourself. So for myself, I was shooting on the A6400. I shot on that for like 2 or 3 years, and after a certain point, I just felt like I was ready to take it to the next level and upgrade to a newer camera with more features, better color science, better codecs, better resolutions that would help me in my career. So yeah, it's important not to let yourself be limited by your gear, but also not to make excuses that your gear is the reason you can't create a certain thing, but also it's important not to feel guilty about investing in your own hobbies. Also, I'm in this garden kind of in the West Village, and I was actually just sitting here on this bench where you guys saw me film that segment, and then this girl walked up to me and was like, "Do you make videos?" And we ended up talking for like an hour because she was also like a filmmaker. Super cool. I love how you can just meet like creative people in this city at all times. Makes you feel so much less alone while walking around talking to myself with the camera. Super cool. Pretty much for the last few hours, I've just been working on my videos, shooting a lot of B-roll for all my New York videos coming up. Also, I'm trying to make more cinematic little shorts. Making reels and shorts isn't really my favorite thing to do, but the growth there is insane, and I feel like I was missing out if I wasn't posting there. Alright, gonna meet up with my sister now. She's at a coffee shop getting some work done, and we are gonna grab some dinner. But also, I'm kind of tired of the city. I didn't think I would be, but maybe I'm just missing Chicago a little bit, but I kind of want to get back to work. I've said this before, but I edit on my desktop, which means that when I'm traveling, it's really hard to edit. I have to try and proxy workflow with like 1/8 quality on my laptop, which just isn't the best experience. So I just want to get back to the studio, put on my headphones, turn on my desktop PC, and like grind out like days and days of editing and just get all these videos up. So I guess maybe I'm not tired of the city. I'm just tired of not being able to work. I still love the city a lot.
Why is it so hard to accept the party is over? You came with your new friends and her mom jeans and her new Vans, and she's perfect and I hate it. Oh, so glad you made it. I'm so glad you could come back.
Okay, I'm back at the apartment now. Today was my last day. Right now is my last night here in New York. And I'm using my phone here as like a key light. But on the topic of gear and all that, I went on Instagram and I asked you guys what gear you guys shoot on, what's your go-to camera and lens, and I'm seeing a lot of similar responses. I see a lot of Sony A7s. Here, Alpha Twiz says he's using a Sony A7 III 24-70 G Master. That's like an amazing combo. That's like a do-everything combo. Matt G with the Sony ZV-E1 24-50. Also pretty much the same combo as what I just said. Sky with the FX30 and Sigma 18-50 or 10-18, which is actually basically the same setup that I use, one wide angle, one more zoomed in. I'm seeing a few A6700s, which means that I guess a lot of you guys are also shooting on the same camera as me. So you guys know how good of a camera it is. My buddy Jacob says he's using the A7 IV with Sigma 28-70 f2.8, which is also a really good setup for like run and gun because you get that reach 28-70. And Leo here says he's using the DJI Pocket 3 and Rode mics, but trying to get that A6700. So yeah, when I posted that on my story, I didn't expect everybody to be talking about the A6700. Sounds like a lot of people in the space actually see the same things that I see about this camera. Just how good value of a camera it actually is for the price that you're paying. You get a lot of pro features, you get all the basic features as well as a lot of pro features for not pro prices, which just makes it so good. So yeah, I'm gonna end this here. It's pretty late. Like there's actually no light. If I put away my phone, you guys can barely see me. So I'm gonna end this here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Follow me on Instagram, so if I ever do another poll or anything, you guys can interact and be a part of the videos. I love having that sense of community around the video, so if you want to be a part of anything, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys in the next one. We'll be back in Chicago tomorrow.